If you ever have to have a conversation at work where you know you and the other person are going to be in a disagreement, or you're going to say something to somebody that they don't want to hear. So essentially, you're going to have an argument that you cannot avoid. I always talk about avoiding arguments, but let's say you can't. You have to have that argument. Always go into that conversation starting it off with something that you and the other person will agree on. So for example, let's say I'm going to ask somebody to spend their department's money on something that I know they don't want to spend it on. I'm going to go to that conversation starting out by saying something like, we're all really tight on budgets, we're all really worried about the economy and the state of things, and we all want to spend our money efficiently and effectively, right? That's something that you and the other person right away already agree on before you even get into the meat of things of how or why you want them to spend money on something else. Or let's take it even higher level. Let's say I'm a country at war with another country. I'm going to go into that truce discussion by saying things like, we all want world peace. We all want people to be safe. Something like that we both will agree on before I even get into the terms of my side. Let's take it back to work. Let's say I'm going to ask somebody to change the way they write a report. I know they won't be happy about this. Nobody likes hearing that they need to change something they're doing. Nobody wants extra work. Nobody wants to hear that they're doing something wrong. I'm going to go into that discussion saying we all want this report to be concise, meaningful, and we all want to not spend a bunch of time putting it together. We want it to be efficient. Nobody can argue with that, right? Everybody wants efficient, concise, useful reports. So right away, the other person will agree with what you're saying. You want to do this because you want to come into that conversation, starting it out with something that you both can agree on, because this will get the other person saying, yes, 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 I agree with this. Yes, I see her point. I also agree with this, before you go in with something that they may not necessarily want to hear or may not necessarily like. This forces them to be more open and willing to listen to what you have to say next. So it's a way to get the other person to agree with you before you go into something that they don't want to hear. So anytime you have conversations that end up being combative, just think about how you can start that discussion by saying something that you both can agree on so that the other person is more receptive to what you're going to say next. And it's a little thing, but it really does help to set the right tone and open the conversation in a way that both people are on the same page, at least at the start, before they hear something they don't want to hear. So hope that helps.